Oh, good to go. Hey guys, welcome back to License to View. This is a weekly pop culture
Not too
podcast
much,
on the internet
man.
where two best friends get together and talk about pop culture stuff.
Playing games, watching
I'm Jason, that's
movies,
Zach. What's going on,
waiting
dude?
for Dune to get released. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into all that next week with our monthly wrap up that we're going to try to do. But
Yeah.
this week, we are finally at the end of our,
4 weeks.
for
Hold
now,
on.
Gundam
Yeah, 4
watch through,
weeks.
which has been
This was
going
week
on for the
4.
last few weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks. Yeah, it's been a lot of Gundam in various iterations, and this week we were talking about the famous Gundam film Char's
something like
Counterattack,
that, yeah.
as well as the brand new 3-week-old or whatever long for the U.S.
Okay.
Hathaway's Flash, and let's just go, man. Just go for it.
Yes.
Because this is the first time you've seen
Mhm.
both of them. Obviously, I've only seen Hathaway's Flash
Yeah.
one time. I've seen Char's Counterattack 1,000 times.
Mhm.
So for you being the
Yeah.
first time you've seen CCA, as the Gundam fans would call it online, CCA, how did you feel about the movie after? What were your thoughts? How did you feel about the characters, the animation, anything that stood out to you after seeing CCA for the first time?
Well,
Post
first of
Zeta
all,
movie
going from
trilogy.
Zeta
How
to
did you
this
feel?
is like, it just feels good to not have, first of all, sporadic art styles and changes in quality, and just everything is like consistent, and it's also just consistently gorgeous. Like, Char's is just a great
Yeah.
looking movie. Like, I mean, the mobile suits look great, obviously, but you also have all of these. I think the shots that stood out to me the most are like, you have a lot of like establishing shots, and I think there was one shot where you see like a tracking shot of like Lindenium as they're like going to land, and it just like, it looks absolutely fantastic, especially for like a film from like the '90s. Like, it just looks so good.
I think we're 88. I think.
Is it '88? I thought it was not, or maybe it was US '90s. Maybe it was.
I think I could be wrong. I thought. I mean, it's. I know. I thought the initial release date was 88. Let's double check just to make sure we're in the right
I mean,
zone.
that's still impressive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
1988. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even more impressive that, yeah, movie from the '80s just looks like this good. Um, I I really like this movie a lot. I like it as like the wrap up to like Amuro and Char's story, and then you've got the. I mean, it's basically like, I don't know. It feels for me like at a certain point, Hathaway is like basically like a sub protagonist for like this whole film, in a sense. Um, which leads me to my first thing, which is that I fucking hated the girl,
Yeah.
which is a thing that I have for both of these movies, which is they introduce, and I like wrote it down in both of them, and I don't remember. I guess Zeta had this too, but I don't remember it in the original. But like, Gundams have the things where just they just make like these female characters that like grate on my nerves.
Well, it's almost like I don't know if this is like a tradition or what, but it's even Gundam Seed, which I always reference, but it's like all these series. It's like the I don't know what I forget what it's called. There's a term for it, like a new like literary movie term, like the manic depressive pixie girl, whoever. Which the whole point of the character's existence is to make the man character go through evolution.
Yeah.
And that's all these girls really are. Like, they're just annoying as fuck for the sake that they're all gonna die.
Yeah.
It's all for the sake of the main character to go through some sort of trauma.
Yeah.
To like grow, which happened to Amuro.
I guess it did. Yeah, she just wasn't around for as long, but yeah, I guess with, or at least in the movie she wasn't as around for as long. But yeah, I guess Lala or Fala, I can't remember how it is.
Lala, yeah.
Lala is like basically the same thing, which is but yeah, I guess I didn't like she wasn't as grating to me because like she wasn't around for the whole time. Unlike in like Char's and then Hathaway, where it's like the chick is there like the whole time.
Yeah.
And especially in Hathaway, I'm like, this bitch is just like messing with this whole plot. Like, I can't stand this shit.
You're not wrong. I think that's the common, at least with Char's Counterattack. That's like the general consensus of that she's the worst character.
I don't know, because I was looking around on Reddit a little bit. I mean, it was like not reading on Char's, but it was reading on Hathaway's a little bit. And there was a couple of people like, I hated Hathaway from Char's. He's such a whiny bitch. And I'm like, he's really not like that bad. Like, I found her way more annoying than Hathaway in this thing. Like, it's stupid that like he gets emotionally attached to this girl that he met for like 5 seconds. Like, that part's annoying.
Yeah.
Where he's like, and then he like kills the girl that was like his ally for like no good reason. He just shoots her. And I'm like, I don't understand why you're like going to kill this girl that is like Amuro's bae because of this girl that you met for 5 seconds and it like has told you multiple times at this point that she doesn't like you and that she thinks that you're annoying. I'm like, okay, wipe my hands of that shit. You think I'm annoying? Peace out, bitch. Like, I'm done with you. Like, go get killed.
Yeah. Focusing on Counterattack though first. I agree with you completely with the animation. I mean, it looks amazing. It's always looked amazing. It's always. I mean, when I first watched it, I was like, no, breathtaking how good the animation was, because it's got clear like hand animation.
Yeah.
You know, it's they're drawing every frame. Every mech is being drawn. It's not like the CG shit, which is fine. You know, but like there's something about the smoothness of having to draw that many fucking frames to make just a random ass launch of a random ass Saku or some bullshit. It has to all look good, and it looks that great. And it reminds me of that opening scene to CCA, and they're not the same in terms of story, but in terms of like showing you the animation quality, it reminds me of the opening scenes to like Ghost in the Shell or Akira, where it's like the opening scene to Akira, just with them riding the bikes on the freeway. You're like, okay, this looks amazing. This looks fucking awesome. Yeah. And that's some of the best mech stuff they've ever done. Yeah. Just straight, even in 1988 to 2021, just like it's some of the best.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then the Encase is still, or Quess, or however you want to pronounce it, is 10 out of 10, annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
But I saw.
I mean, I should have known that something was up when, like, the first time you see her, she's like running with a bunch of hippies. She's getting chased by the police, and I was like, oh, this bitch. Yeah.
Well, I saw a good summarization, or whatever word, you know, a summary basically, or a warning or whatever preface on Reddit. This morning, I was looking at CCA stuff, just kind of like. I was trying to figure out the gaps between why Char is the way he is in this movie after we saw him
in Zeta,
in Zeta, and the consensus that I found was, well, you know, after Camille, he would I said fuck this or whatever, right? And maybe in Double Zeta, there's some stuff they mentioned there, whatever. But what I kept seeing on Reddit, and these are all from random times, was that like. Char's Counterattack is a good movie, but it's a mess. This is what people are saying. If you take away everyone else's story and just focus on Amuro and Char, perfect. Yeah. But if you focus on everyone else's bullshit, that's when it gets bogged down. I saw that before I rewatched it, that comment, and I rewatched it and said, yes and no. I completely think yes and no.
I mean, I've only seen it once, but I would say like yes and no. Like I think there's definitely points where stuff gets bogged down, but it's also like, I don't know, it has that like space opera feel where it's like, I mean, that's like, it's the space opera, soap opera type of thing where you've got a bunch of like interconnected personal dynamics between all these characters. I think especially in Char's, even more than like, because even though I mentioned that Hathaway's like a secondary protagonist, the protagonist of Char's Counterattack is really Char. Like it's really his movie, and like Amuro really feels like he's not a dynamic character like he has been in like the OG, or like, I don't know, he's probably a more dynamic character in the Zeta series, but like but in this movie he's really not. He's very like static, like he doesn't really change his position at all. Char, I mean, you know, he starts off different than he, you know, when we left him in Zeta, but like his whole character progression I feel is more interesting and like a more engaging journey to go on with in this movie, which is an interesting aspect of, and I think one of the things that I wrote down is like, I mean, he fits the best role of like some of the best antagonists, which is like when they see themselves as the protagonist, because for him, he is the hero trying to like save the people of
Well,
space noids or whatever.
and I think the I would say the better extrapolation or the fuck of what you're saying is that the best villains are when they aren't really bad guys.
Yeah.
They have a different perspective. Like there's no way you can say that Char is wrong.
Yeah.
In the world that he lives in.
Yeah.
Right. Like
in the world that like wrong. We know of Universal Century Gundam, like he has a good point.
Like he's not wrong, right? And neither is Amuro.
Yeah.
That's why he's a good villain, because he's not wrong. Because you can look at him and go, well, yeah, he should push an asteroid into Earth and put it into an ice age. But that's one of the big things about the movie that even on rewatch, it's really jarring. It's like the movie opens into the second act.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I was like 5 minutes in and I was like, oh damn, he's already pushed like one asteroid into Earth. Like goddamn.
Like it should have been like we should have gotten like preamble, but no, I was like, no, we're already in the second act, baby. So
like
we have
no,
three
well,
more acts.
I mean, for the point of the movie is like the ice edge has to happen with the second asteroid, so you have to get the first one out of the way because the whole ticking time bomb of the movie is them trying to get the second asteroid that they can dump into Earth. So
it just also like the idea like, oh, there's two asteroids makes ice age. Like that, what kind of math?
Yeah,
is that?
I don't know. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. As like, I feel like one would be enough because scientific theory wise, it only took one to wipe out the dinosaurs and start the ice age. So I don't know why we need two all of a sudden, but
and even with that kind of like sporadic opening,
mm-hmm.
it puts you right into space battle.
Yeah,
at the height of space battles, and you see Amuro in like this like shit mobile suit.
Yeah, I don't even remember which one he had because he doesn't start off with the new Gundam. He starts off with like it basically looks like one of the like the Mark II like prototypes that we saw in like Zeta almost.
I'm pretty sure it's like I could be completely wrong, so for all the Gunpla people will know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like a Zeta ripoff.
Mm.
Like kind of like a
like how Zeta started off with like the ripoff of like the original Gundam that Amuro had. Because Camille starts off with basically a ripoff of the.
Well, in the sense that like the Gundam, the mobile suit he's piloting can shift into a plane.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is like the Zeta thing. I don't know what it's called. I don't.
The mobile arm thing.
Whatever Amuro has at the beginning of the movie, I don't know what it's called. I don't really care enough because he has it for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, which is also weird because mobile armor was such like a big part of Zeta, and like I don't know how much it was in Double Z, but like and here they're basically like, the mobile armor doesn't matter. Like nobody really has it in this series or in this movie.
But you open up with Char in the best suit he has.
The zombie man, that thing looks so sick, so clean. I love it.
Yeah, it's the coolest.
Well, you start off with, even before that, everything. You see the reveal of the new Gundam with the face plate of it, which is like, it was weird to me because for me, I guess it makes sense because like it's still in the factory, but it was like the first shot of it, you see it's like all patchwork. It's got like tape lines or whatever, where it's like clearly it hasn't been welded. The whole face hasn't been like welded together yet, but yeah, you see that first shot of the new Gundam, and then you see Char go out in his Suzabi looking fresh as fuck.
Yeah. Well, story wise,
yeah,
it's not really a deep movie or a super like
I kind of wanted it to be deeper than it was. Like he started off basically Char saying that like he wants to start an ice age because people have overpopulated or not overpolluted the Earth. And I was like, nah, he can't be doing this hippie bullshit. There's got to be something else. And then there's like a line later. He's like, I want this to be like the birth of all new types. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I want. And then like, I think he has like one of his later conversation with Amuro. He's like, they polluted the Earth. And I was like, it really is about the hippie bullshit? Like I wanted it to be about like the new type shit.
I honestly, at the end of the movie, with the ending that still don't know.
It's very confusing. It makes me feel like they both died, but it's not, I don't know.
Well, I'll give you my interpretation, which I have double checked with years of fucking talking to people.
Well, after
who like
watching
this
Hathaway, it makes me feel like at least Amuro died. after he has
Uh,
that vision. I don't know.
I'll say my thing in a second, because there's no confirmation or anything. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the story, it just shows me that like I don't think Char gives a fuck about anything. I think he cares about what he cares about, and that's it. I think
Yeah,
everything
I
else
think
is
that. I
just
mean, that's basically
just
has been his
excuses.
character the whole time. Is like he's got
Well, no,
his
I think
own
that
goals, and
he's
like everybody else's goals can like go fuck themselves.
well. Here's what I mean. Magneto
Mm.
wants to protect mutants in his own way,
Right.
right? His ultimate goal isn't to just do what he wants. It's still he does what he wants, but that's still ultimately to protect the mutant kind,
Right.
right? I think Char at the end of the movie doesn't even care about Neo and Zeon. Doesn't even care about anything. He just wants to do what he wants to do, whatever that
Well,
is.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of for me that was kind of obvious because I mean it's always Char's character, but even in this movie, like he talks about the fact that like him trying to like take over his father's mantle like is not something that he wanted. Even in Zeta, like the whole time, it's always them trying to like push like the commander responsibility onto Char because he has that charisma. But for the whole time, for him, he's like, nah, this is not what I want. Like
No, I'm
I don't
just
want
a
to be in
lieutenant.
charge of
Yeah.
these people. Like I'm a mobile suit pilot, and like that's where I'm the most comfortable. And I think you even see that in this movie, where like for him, where he is at most peace with himself is like when he's in a mobile suit fighting Amuro. Like that's where he's Char.
Yeah, I think at the end of the movie, it actually kind of like detracted for me a little bit because I felt like he just became more of a selfish character versus a character that like with Magneto,
Mm.
like at the beginning of Char's Counterattack where he protects his people. I'm like, okay, this is cool. He's a like no a leader and all that kind of stuff. He has his end goal. And at the end of it, I kind of felt like he just like, all right. I mean, you just want to beat Armoro, which is
Yeah, it is
fine.
weird that yeah his whole goal at the end basically just becomes I want to defeat Amuro in battle.
And it's kind of like that's a selfish thing after you just sacrificed all these people to come join
It
fight with
also
you, which
doesn't
is
make any sense
fine.
because like if that's all you want to do, why are you trying to push an asteroid? Like you could have fought him without having to push an
Yeah,
entire asteroid into the Earth.
yeah, exactly. Um, but with the with the ending,
Mm-hmm.
here's how I took it.
Okay.
Here's how I take it. And I've talked to some of my friends who are big Gundam people
Mm-hmm.
over the years. I've read comments on YouTube vids from years ago, and here's what I understand.
Okay.
Here's what I interpret it as: they didn't die, they didn't live. They became part of the new type, the Force.
Okay, but if that's the interpretation, then they did die because Luke becomes part of the Force, and that means he died.
No, but I'm just giving you the closest example I can think of with the Force.
Yeah, but I mean, even if like take the
Because
Force comparison out of it,
apparently
if
I
they
haven't
become part of like the new type, then that means that
Mhm.
they ceased to be like as people. Because if you're a part of like this circle of life, flow of energy, and like the psychokinetic energies of the universe or whatever, like if
Yeah.
you become a part of that with like them uh collecting like basically the energy of like the people around him through whatever that I don't understand that shit either. Like the weird tea shit that like the girl had that
Hmm.
like somehow stimulated like this entire ending into happening. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand how that works at all. But like if that happened, then like I mean they died because they're not like they don't have physical bodies
Or
anymore.
did they die, or did they become part of the bigger life
I would
and they
say
were
they
reborn?
physically died and then their souls would transcend.
Because wouldn't you say that like in Final Fantasy VII they become part of the Mako like life stream? Is that dying, or that become part of the planet?
Well, I would say so because everybody says that Aerith died, so she definitely. I would say it's definitely dead.
I think that's because those people are sad because their waifu died, but
Well, she got
really she
stabbed
became
in the
part of
chest, so yeah.
she became part of what she loved, right? I haven't played the game, so I don't know, but like she became part of what she loved. So really, that's like the birth of a new life, you
Yeah,
know?
I guess you could. I guess it's one
Because
way to like
apparently
interpret it. Yeah,
I haven't seen Unicorn, but apparently the same thing happens to the main character in that show.
I can't remember. I watched Unicorn when I was like in high school. I can't remember any. I mean, this is making me
I haven't
want to
seen
like
it.
go and rewatch Unicorn, but I can't. I can't
I
remember.
haven't seen it, but
I just
apparently
know
that
that
psycho frame.
apparently the antagonist in Unicorn is the same voice actor that voices Char, which makes me think that it's Char. So maybe he's not dead.
Well, again, I don't know, but I haven't seen the show. But apparently, the main character does a Char Amuro as well. I
He
can't
looks like
confirm or
Amuro,
deny.
that's for sure.
Well, apparently he gets life forced or something.
Yeah, something like that.
You
I
know,
can't. I really can't remember. It's been so long since I watched that. But
because to me, like that just means that like, okay, well, what's stopping them from just appearing outside of that force again?
yeah, I mean, I guess that would interpret. I guess my counter to that would be if you don't think that like they died in that sense, that like they become the part of the life force, then like if you look at like Zeta or like the OG Gundam, then like did Lala not die? Because
No, I guess.
yeah, because like
Well,
you
she
basically would
talks to
have
them,
like the
right?
same thing, or like she's even more present than like Amuro and Char is in the new type force or whatever. Like
Yeah.
she's constantly a fixture, especially in like
Mm-hmm.
Char's and in the OG. Like the what happened to
Yeah.
her, like she's constantly present in like both of those characters' minds.
Well, clearly she's still alive because she's reaching out, talking to them through the new type force.
Yeah.
So I would say that that's
Hmm?
going from one existence to the next.
Yeah.
New type ghosts or whatever. I mean, I think the ending is kind of a cop out. I think one person should have won.
Well, yeah, probably.
I think it would be
But then
really. I
what are
think it
you
would be
gonna do
really
with this
sweet.
giant? I mean, I guess at that point you would just be
I
like,
think. I think it would have been sick if you just Amuro is still able to push it out of the trajectory, but in the end,
I mean, for
his
me though,
mobile
that'd
suit
be
still.
like as the anime guy, as the guy who loves anime, that's like the anime cliche bullshit where it's like, oh yeah, this one Gundam can like move this entire fucking asteroid.
Well, what I was gonna say was that they move it out of the way.
Okay.
All the Gundams die. Amuro dies. Char lives, and he has to sit there and go to jail because he's stuck in the fucking mountain. He's stuck in the rock in the cockpit.
Yeah, that's true. He's
His
definitely stuck
rival
there.
he watches his rival burn up alive, preventing what he's gonna do. His other teammates helped him, whatever. So Amuro dies, saves. He's still the hero. He wins the day. Earth saved. He dies, but Char has to live and suck on being the loser.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that probably would have been a little bit more satisfying because yeah, I mean, at the end of this, I was like, oh, they just both burned up. Okay.
or fucking other way. Have fucking him
I
beat
don't know.
Amuro in
For me,
battle, and the
I
planet
feel like at
dies.
least Amuro died because I feel like Amuro is not the type of person that would like just like not show his presence at all like 12 years later if like he lived. I don't know. I just feel like he's not that
I
kind of
think
guy to
that's
like
what
just hide out. Like Shard totally
I
would
think.
be.
I think that's what the. I think it's what the unicorn thing was talking about. I think Amuro's like doing some like Ben Kenobi shit. I thought.
Now I really need to rewatch
I don't
Unicorn.
know. 'Cause I watched the first OVA. I thought that sucked. So I don't know. But that's what I was reading. Was like I was trying to figure out like confirmation about the ending.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I think the ending is like almost like it's a. I don't know what the right movie term for it is because it's like a shitty.
I mean, it's
It's a
unsatisfying. Is it unsatisfying?
it's a shitty Inception ending because it's
Hmm.
like the director can be like, "Hey, Cobb, is it a dream or not?
Oh,
I don't
ambiguous.
know."
A shitty ambiguous
But then,
ending.
well, not even ambiguous because it can go. It can be like any day of the week. The director of Char's Counterattack can flip either way. Can be like, "Yeah, they're alive. No, they're dead."
Has he done that, or are you just saying he could do
I
that?
I have no. I'm saying he could either way. He could do that any day of the week. And to me, that's annoying. To me, that's bad
I
writing.
mean, that's basically the ambiguous thing because that's what Christopher Nolan can do. It'd be like, yeah, he's trapped in the thing, and no, he's not trapped in it. Like he's fine.
Yeah, I do think though with Nolan, I do think he has an ending in his. I think he has a canon ending in his
Yeah,
mind that
probably.
he's
I mean,
told
I can see him
DiCaprio.
doing the Ridley Scott thing where, like, yeah, he has a definitive answer to what happened, and his answer probably sucks, but he has a definitive answer. That's Ridley Scott, at
I'm
least, with
sure.
Blade Runner. He's
I,
like, yeah,
I'm sure DiCaprio has a fucking. He's walking around in his own mind like, yo, yeah, on the movie, I asked him and he told me
I don't know. I feel like
no or
DiCaprio is
yes.
one of those people that likes to talk, so I feel like if he knew the answer, he probably would have spilled it already. Because I feel like he gets asked that question
Well,
all the time.
I'm sure he does, but maybe Nolan gave him the wrong answer on purpose.
Maybe that's possible.
Because I think that there's no way Nolan's too good of
But
a
if he gave him
writer.
the wrong answer on purpose, then you know the right answer.
Right. or he gave him the wrong answer, which was actually the right answer.
All right,
To
yeah.
trick
Now we're in.
DiCaprio.
Now I'm mind fucked. I don't know.
Because I'm saying, cause there's no way he's too good of a writer not to have a definitive answer. Because to me, I think not having, I've said this before in the podcast, not having a definitive answer in your story, I think is bad writing. I think it's bad writing. I think it's a cop out writing.
I think it depends on. I think
You can't,
most of the time it
you can't
is, but I
name me
think it
one
also
time where
depends
it's
on
good.
like the themes and like what message you're trying to convey with your story. Because sometimes having an ending with a question at the end can sometimes be a better like capper to like what you're trying to stay with your story than like having a definitive ending. I think
I
most of the
can't
times
think
it's
of
not that
one
great, but
time.
I think there are some times where it can be warranted.
I can't. Can you give me one? Because I can't think of one time where I think it's warranted or good. Sopranos. I know the answer. He's dead. I don't know. Like there's not many. I can't think of anything.
Um, I would say probably
Inception
like, I
worse.
mean, I think No Country for Old Men is probably like a good example of that with like,
But did No Country for Old Men? I don't remember the ending. Is the ending not clarified, but just the actions not shown, or is it the ending still? What's the ending of the movie? So I don't remember.
well, the ending of the movie is that Shigeru tries to like wrap up his stuff, and once he kills the one guy's wife, he like ends up getting a car crash and like walking away, and like the biggest part for me is like, is Tommy Lee Jones like, at least from, I know I haven't watched in a few years, but like is Tommy Lee Jones going to be able to like go after him, or like is he going to go after him?
Mm-hmm.
Because Tommy Lee Jones at that point, his character is basically like, it's always going to be like evil in the world or that kind of shit. And so
Yeah.
it's like, is he going to go after him? Is Sugar going to get caught by like somebody else? Is he going to die from his injuries and like this horrific car accident that he got?
Because that movie lost me with the hotel motel scene.
Oh, and
That
Josh
movie
Brolin dies. Yeah,
I was that not showing the action to me like that.
I mean it's part of the whole. I mean that's also
To
like,
me
it also just fits into
no.
the themes of the thing where it's just like evil just happens, and like, and for that like the hotel scene, like that's not even Anton Chigurh, like it's just somebody else that kills him.
Well, the idea of we're gonna not show it and come to it when it's already over. Yeah, I
Mm.
show not tell. That's the whole point of movies.
Yeah.
Show me, don't tell me. Um, I can't think of one literary reason why that is, or movie reason why this is a movie.
I'm gonna be honest. I did do
You
my homework, so I feel like if I did my homework, I might be able to give you an answer. But off the cuff, I don't have a lot.
well, I'm just saying like you. I'm not saying give me a Quentin Tarantino scene,
Yeah,
but like you could make it a realistic gunfight where it's just like
yeah,
pow pow and we fall and die, right? You don't have to make it super obscene. But to me, the idea, this is not about Gundam, but the theme of brutality and evil happening, show me the evil and theme of brutality, and show me that war exists and will always exist no matter what, and then show me the old sheriff, but show me. I don't know. I haven't read the book. I have it on my bookshelf. I haven't read it because Cormac McCarthy books. I read every 5 years because he writes so dense.
it's
And
also very depressing for me, which is why I can't read them that often.
well, I mean, like Blood Meridian is a fantastic book.
Yeah,
It's a western, but I just don't fucking I can't read it more than once every 5 years because it's like I have to do math to read these to put words together. I have to like fucking math.
yeah,
Um, it's like imagine if fucking like and it's kind of with this too of a Gundam. Like we don't see how they go. We just see a bunch of fucking like sparkles
yeah,
and then the teeth thing, and then we just go okay, and then no one's gonna ask what the fuck happens.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's also like, I mean, jumping a little bit ahead in Hathaway, it kind of feels like, nobody really knows what happened, because even in Hathaway, you
Yeah.
have people like basically like questioning like if
Ooh.
Char's
Yeah.
really dead, like maybe it is Char Aznarbal that is like controlling this terrorist group, whatever. Like there's still that ambiguation, I guess, even in later UC series, that like we don't really know if they're dead or alive. So
Exactly. Yeah. So wrapping that up though, anything else you want to add about Char's counterattack? How'd you feel? Last thoughts?
I mean, overall, I really, really like the movie a lot, and I really liked the characterization of all the different characters. I like the introduction to Hathaway Noah. I actually really enjoy his character a lot. I think he's a little bit more. He reminds me of, especially watching Char's Counterattack. I feel like he's a good mix between like Amuro and Char. Like I feel like he's got like a lot of the like. Hold on, I'm trying to. I wrote it down at one point. Give me a sec. Give me a sec.
Well, for me, he's annoying, but he's a child, so I don't mind that. But I can see after watching Hathaway, I can see the potential that he like. I can see the growth. You know, like he is a son of a famous military person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he grew up around famous people. He grew up around famous military people,
His
around
dad is
brilliant
famous,
minds.
and that like that also has to
That's what I'm
like
saying. You know,
weigh
like
on his conscience of like what he
so
does.
I can see. You know, he's seen Char, he's seen Amro, he's seen these people. You know, I can see him then becoming the hero of this battle post this thing happening. You know, Amro's gone, so we'll run with the story about this fucking kid. You know, I can see it like the progression to where we see him at in Hathaway's Flash. It's reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't seem like a massive jump for him to one be trained because why would he? Clearly, he's trained because he would from fucking childhood.
Yeah.
You know, the whole time he's had a good like head on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's never been like he was never like a baby brat like a like scaredy cat.
Yeah.
You know, jump in a fucking mobile suit, float through space to go find the girl
Yeah.
just so she can become his Lala.
Yeah.
You know, so I can see the progression. I think that's if I didn't have Hathaway's Flash for like I didn't for years, I'd be like, okay, he's a fucking bratty kid who does some cool stuff. Okay, but then seeing it like right like real close together,
Yeah.
it's like okay, it's like boom boom, I got it.
Yeah.
You know, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. For sure. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't find it, but I mean, I think he's that good mix of like, especially going into like Hathaway's Flash, where I think he's the good mix between like Char's charisma, but like Amuro's kind of like moral compass in a way. Um, not so much with like the assassinating people, but like as far as like him doing it for the right reasons, and especially like in Hathaway's, where he's like, you don't get a lot of build up to like what he's been doing like kind of before the movie. Like people, I mean, going back to like show don't tell, you get a lot of people telling you what he's been up to as far as like being
Mm-hmm.
the head of this thing. But I think what I liked, jumping ahead a little bit, I don't know, I'm kind of like mixing and matching. But I really like um, the in Hathaway's a lot of that movie in particular is like him questioning his thought process and his action is like, is this the correct way to do things? And I feel like that kind of gets more into like the Amuro mindset because Char really doesn't like give a fuck. He's
No,
got a goal and
yeah.
he's just like, I don't give a fuck what collateral damage is. This is the goal I set off. This is what I'm gonna do. So I
Mm-hmm.
think like that kind of like double backing and questioning yourself and like figuring out like if what you're doing to achieve your goals is like the correct way to do it. I think like that's kind of like where you get that influence of like Amuro getting into him. So
Yeah, completely.
yeah,
Or even his dad. You know.
yeah, it's that too. I don't know. It's hard because like I don't know. His dad's such a big part of the series, but like characterization wise, I really don't know what he takes from his dad. Because like the biggest thing that I know of his dad, really for the most part, is that he's like the straight laced military guy. Like that's what he is, and like he doesn't really exhibit any of that in Hathaway's at least. Um,
See, because I would take it as though his dad is a battlefield commander,
mm,
so taking in all possibilities
yeah,
before just running into combat like Char does. Because all Char's answer is, which Armor says in the movie, is like just destroy shit. That's all you do is like to get in the mobile suit and destroy stuff.
yeah,
You know, whereas if you're the
destroy things, destroy relationships.
yeah, you're a commander of an armada or whatever. You can't just do that because you have so many people on board. And we see captains in Gundam who try to do that, and they always die.
Yeah, that's true.
Their ships always get wrecked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, So maybe that's something, but obviously we don't know because they don't tell us.
Yeah.
Maybe the book does, but the book's not. I can't find the English
Yeah, I think
version
it's
of the
only in
book.
Japanese, so.
I've seen chapters here and there translated online, like fan subs, but I know they're re-releasing the book soon, or if they already did in Japanese. So maybe someone will. Maybe they'll put it out in English. I don't
That's what
know.
I'm hoping
But
for. I feel like this movie is popular enough they might do it, but I don't know.
yeah,
I just don't know how popular it is either.
yeah, I have no idea. Enough for Netflix to give a chance, I
Yeah.
guess, but who knows how the response has been. Let's move into Hathaway's Flash.
Yes.
New movie, one of three, based on three books from the 90s. Zach, man, how'd you feel?
I I really like this movie a lot, man. I really liked it. Reminded me a lot of like, to make a big blockbuster comparison, like it reminded me of like going into like Captain the America Winter Soldier, where it's like you're like, oh yeah, I'm sitting down for a superhero movie, and it's like slaps you in the face, like, nah, bitch, we're doing espionage. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm
Yeah,
here for that shit. So I really liked it a lot, and like, I talked about Hathaway's characterization in the movie, and I really liked that a lot. I like seeing him like growing up and like seeing him become basically the leader of like this anti-government organization, and also like him questioning his like responsibility and his role as like the leader of this like terrorist organization, and not like just like their goals, but like seeing how his goals and like his group has like affected other people around the world, because like the movie basically starts off with like basically a group of like anti-government splinter cell nobodies like basically like using his namesake of his group to like commit this robbery, basically, because like it has nothing to do with the actual mafty plan overall. It's just them like extorting these people for money. So
yeah. I post watching it because I watched the day it came out.
mm-hmm.
I was 50-50 on it
Mm-hmm.
because from what we got, from what it is, uh, looking at it through just a movie,
Okay.
right? Like an animated movie. It looks amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it looks
Everything about it
gorgeous.
is
Yeah.
top notch. Um,
The CG
it's
looks great.
it's a fun movie. Yeah, it's a fun movie. The story is interesting, compelling enough.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff's wonky, like you mentioned with the girl.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but that's
Gigi,
kind of
she's
wonky.
like, she is like the only. It's like Char's. She's like the number one like thumbs down for me. Also,
Yeah.
even more so than Quess, like her reasoning for like why she's like doing and saying the stuff that like she's doing makes like no sense, and is given like at least Quess, it's like, okay, she's a hippie. She keeps talking about how she studied in India. She's like the
Yeah.
peace love type shit, and she's also in love with Char. Okay, I totally get that. I don't
Yeah.
understand why Gigi is like acting the way that she is. Like she's acting like she's this like holier than thou person who like knows that everything's going on, and like it doesn't make any sense to me. Also, her leaps in logic of her like deducting that like Hathaway is this terrorist leader, I was like, that makes no fucking sense.
Makes no sense.
Your evidence is like not there. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he knows how to fight. He fucking is a military brat. Like, of course.
And then also for him to be like, yeah, it's me.
Also, yeah, and I was like, why are you gonna admit that shit? Like, she has no proof.
Don't do that. Let's not do that. Let's or if she does know it, kill her.
Yeah.
Because why would you do that?
Like, you're a terrorist leader.
No,
like,
so,
I don't understand. And that goes into like, oh no, say what you're gonna say.
No, so with one lens, it's fine.
Yeah.
With the lens of me wanting Gundam battles, it fails.
I don't know if it does. I mean, there's definitely not a lot compared to like
It's
Char's.
20 minutes.
I mean, there's definitely not a lot, but I think the ones that we get are pretty good. Like, you've got the big action set piece in the middle, him like running through the city, and then you've got the Gundam battle at the end.
Which is not Gundam battle.
Well,
that's him running through the city with Gundams around him.
I enjoy. I mean, it's definitely like, well, it's not a Gundam battle because there's no Gundams, but it's definitely a mobile suit battle. But
the point stands that I wanted mobile suits doing mobile suit stuff. That's why I watch this show. Right? I don't watch the show for spies. I don't give a fuck. Every time they leave the mobile suit to walk around and do their chit chat montage and shoot guns real shittily, I don't give a fuck. The the whole point on the fucking Char's Counterattack where they both run around the fucking asteroid just to fucking do this and go back to their mobile suits. Fuck off. Don't give a shit. That's stupid. That's so stupid. That's so dumb. You tell me their funnel can't do that? Fuck off. So while it was super cool to me to see the perspective of a regular person and see how damaging
yeah, that's what I was
mech
going to say
is.
for sure, especially with that mid-action set piece where it's just like you can see how destructive mobile suit fights are.
Look, I love that's super cool. That's super rad. But give me that. Give me more mobile suit fights. Also, don't give me the 30 minutes of them in a fucking airport hangar talking about bullshit. Because it's not deep enough writing. It's not deep. This ain't Tarantino. This ain't deep enough bullshit between him and her talking about bullshit. Then they go to the hotel room. And what do they do at the hotel for fucking nothing.
No,
they do nothing.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't like... I mean, yeah, it goes back... I don't really like any of the interactions between, like, him and her. Because I don't think that the writing is good enough to, like, set up this relationship between them. Like, it makes no sense why he's so attached to her at all.
No.
I mean, I guess there's a little bit where, like, when the hijacking happens, he, like, hears Quest's voice, and then he also hears her voice. So I guess subliminally he makes, like, some connection between them or some shit like that. But, like, that's super weak, and it's not, like, really well established at all. And also, he fucks up his whole group for, like, this one bitch, who then he has basically the scene. He's like, oh, it's just like in CCA where she runs away and she's gonna go to this fucking guy who's not me because she doesn't love me. And I'm like, yeah, she doesn't like you, so get the fuck out of there.
Like, straight up, you know, the movie to me is fine. And then the end, and then we get to the last little bit, and it's great.
The ending's great. I love the
also
Gundam fight.
But also the moment Hathaway gets to his base, it's Gundam. It feels like Gundam. The interactions are Gundam.
Once he meets up with the ship in the middle of the ocean or whatever?
Yeah, once he gets back to his people.
Yeah, that feels like Gundam for sure.
Dynamically, it shifts to a Gundam movie.
Yeah.
Him walking through the hangar, talking to his crew, that's fucking Gundam.
Well, right? Yeah, I would say 100%. And then, you know, you got his whole, like, mid-ocean launch. Like, that's all Gundam shit. Yeah.
But 75% before that, eat dicks. It's good for what it is. It's good for what it is if you understand. But if you want, I would never. If someone said, "Hey, I'm new to Gundam. This is a brand new movie. Should I watch this?" No, because it doesn't give you anything of what you want it to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, and as someone who watches mobile suit stuff, for mobile suit stuff, don't make me wait 2 more years for a fucking mobile suit thing.
Is that how long it's going to be? 2 years?
I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
I haven't actually researched anything about it. I'm interested to see when the second one's going to come out.
Maybe they already finished all 3 of them and they're just waiting to pump them out. I don't know.
Possible.
And maybe that yapping stuff works really well in a novel, but in the anime movie, that first half or that first act is so dry. It's so dry.
Yeah, I think
of them.
Well, yeah, basically once the hijacking happened, there really isn't a whole lot else that goes on.
Because that opening is great.
The opening's fantastic.
That hijacking scene is great, and then it goes into that airport scene, hotel, which just
the airport
meanders.
Hotel stuff is not great. I like him meeting up with his people. They go to like the botanical garden or whatever. He like meets up with his people. They do a little spy shit. I like that bit, but yeah, it's like all the stuff in the hotel is like not fantastic. And I didn't really like Kenneth as pseudo. I mean, he doesn't start off as an antagonist, but he is the antagonist. I didn't really enjoy him at all, and I hated Gigi and all her weird, stupid shit that made no fucking sense.
And it's hard for me too because I don't know where Hathaway and his rivals stand in mobile suit competition.
You got him
because we got.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like they set up Kenneth as basically like this antagonist, but like from what I've seen, he doesn't pilot a mobile suit. Like he's got this like basically proxy with this young kid, which is also like, come on, guys, we're still having kids pilot these fucking like giant ass Gundams. Like, come on.
Yeah, and like we know the kid's good, but we got so
He's
little of it.
well, we know he's good because I mean they make a point of saying like he's good in like test stuff, but like in
In
actual
training, yeah.
combat, he's not that good.
So
He's
and also it's like why?
inexperienced.
It's also like why would you pick him then
Yeah, that's the other thing. I guess because
to
like
fly
nobody
your
else can
like
really pilot it as well as him. But like, if he doesn't have the experience and like he's basically useless without experience, then like, what's the
yeah?
point?
Because to me, like just from my perspective, I could be completely misreading this.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like Mafty was all that like weak. They're walking through their base, and I'm like, man, they got a lot of shit going on.
yeah, it definitely gave me like the not the new Rebels, but like it gave me like the
This ain't
Star
the
Wars Rebels
fucking
kind of feel. Like,
yeah.
oh, they got a lot of stuff going on right now.
Well, even the rebels, like, was my point. I was gonna say, like, no, to me, they're not that. Because to me, even the rebels were like, we're hiding, we're hopping here. We don't have a fucking mobile hangar with.
Yeah, but
We
even in
have.
this, I mean, they're constantly like switch. I mean, basically the end of the movie is them having to like relocate bases because they got found out. Basically,
But
like
then what? But what is Hathaway pilot?
we played it's a Gundam.
This fucking
Yeah,
Gundam.
but you got the Jedi. The Rebels have a fucking Jedi, dude. That's basically
In the
like the
first,
Gundam of
no,
the
no,
Star Wars universe.
in the first movie, he has to hope that he can trust the Force, and they have old beat up X wings, right?
Yeah.
That's what they have. So to me, like I'm almost like not like worried about if Hathaway can win because I know y'all got some shit going on. Y'all got funding, y'all got materials,
Well,
you
that
got
was the other
mobile
thing that was
suits.
interesting to me because like you get to the Gundam fight and you basically have the kid basically saying that his Gundam is like a knockoff Gundam,
Right.
which brings me to the question of like Gundams are not cheap. So where's he get this Gundam from? Who's supplying him with the Gundam? Is it like a Neon Xeon? Is Char actually
It's probably
alive
that.
and he's like basically
It's
like
probably that.
puppeteering this shit?
No,
Like,
it's probably that fucking guy from Char's Counterattack, that company who makes them.
yeah, I don't know, but then I don't know because I mean I guess they could get more supplies, but like you get to the end of this movie and he's basically like, yeah, you had to destroy like you basically destroyed like 50% of your supplies when you dumped out of the capsule in midair because I guess the capsule, as well as having the suit, it had like all of like the backups and whatnot. Because he lost his beam rifle at the end of the battle, so like they basically said in this movie, he's like, hey, you don't have a beam rifle if you go out anymore. Like
Yeah.
you better get in there and finish it because you got no long range weapons. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to see where it goes next because I kind of like left the movie being like, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
no, yeah, I don't really know what's gonna happen at all. And yeah, I'm definitely interested to like see where the story goes. I definitely want to like follow this character more. Like I enjoy his perspective and like I want to see where exactly he takes this journey that he's on. So
Yeah, and my final thoughts of the movie is that I don't even need. I could. This could have been a scroll to me. I could have been
this could
fine
have
with
been
a
the
Star
title
Wars
scroll.
scroll. This could have been a title scroll
Mm.
because like
I don't know, dude. I enjoyed it a
there,
hell of a lot. I mean, it's definitely like I get what you're saying, where it's not like the most Gundam thing to ever Gundam. Like I get that 100%, but I still enjoyed it quite a lot. And like, I mean, it's like I said, like it's like going into like Winter Soldier, where it's like, you know, I've seen a bunch. I mean, I haven't seen everything, but like I've seen a lot of like Gundam shows that really Gundam. So like to see one that like kind of tries to like mix it up a little bit and like do something different, but still have like the Gundam stuff that you know and love like in there, just not as plentiful. I don't know. I didn't mind it too much.
yeah, it would need that movie two has a fuck ton.
Well, he's got his Gundam now, so I mean,
Yeah,
I feel
movie
like it's
two would
gonna
have to
have
be.
more.
It would need to be like significant amount of fucking battles
Mm.
for me to be like, okay, cool. Because in the sense of a trilogy, I can forgive the lack of mobile suit stuff in the first movie if two is like bam, right? And then three we diversify. But like I can in the whole pulling back view of it and looking at it as a full trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind if the first movie is the way it is like this, if the other two suffice for what I'm looking for, right?
I feel like they
Like I
will. I mean, once
expect
he's got his Gundam now, so like I really don't know why he won't be like piloting it a lot more.
I would hope so.
Also,
I
he's the
don't
only one
want.
that can pilot it because basically, like, as far as from what I've seen from Gundam, it's like if you're the Gundam pilot, you're the only one that can do that shit. So
Yeah, I just don't want to be this super introspective next movie. Like, you know, I don't want to pilot because of maybe my actions. No, I don't want that.
no, I mean,
No.
I definitely don't get that vibe from like the ending of this movie. Like, I think this movie could have definitely ended in a way where like you could have set up something like that, but like the way I see it, he's basically like accepted his role as Mafty, and I think you're going to see a lot more action from him in because I think that kind of builds into your complaint from this movie, which is like in this movie outside of like the beginning hijack scene, Hathaway really isn't like a doer. Like there's a lot of stuff that's like happening around him, but he's not really partaking in any action until he actually like climbs into his Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Oh yeah.
think the ending of this movie basically for me sets up the fact that like he's resigned himself to the fact that like he's got to be a doer. So I feel like him going forward will be a lot more involved in the action that is going on in the series, which means more Gundam fights.
I mean, I don't know. I hope so.
That's what
But
I think.
and even in the sense of it, I would assume that prior to the opening part of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
he's doing all that shit. He just fucking was like being toted around that first little bit, and that first little bit, I can't rewatch that. I just can't watch it. I can't do it. You know, maybe if when
Well,
I have
luckily you
all
can just
three of
fast
them,
forward through it until you get to the fact that the mobile suit shows up in Middle City.
yeah. I mean that's
There's really
literally
not, as
watching it.
far as plot wise, there's really not a whole lot plot wise that happens in that bit, anyways. Like it's really more of
Right.
like the character dynamics between like
But hold on. Let me real quick. Let me
because
pull
that
up my
bit once
Netflix
they get
app.
out of the plane and they're in the like airport hotel shit, like that's really just it's really just the character dynamic stuff between like him, the blonde haired chick, and then Kenneth. Like it's really just about like that dynamic and like what these three characters how they like push and pull against each other as far as like in the story. But like plot wise, there's really not a whole lot that really happens
Yeah.
until like the big
So
battle.
that the big battle. I'm trying to do some scrolling.
I think it's like 50 minutes into the movie, which is also the other thing is like, I mean,
40
I forgive
minutes.
it because it's not like trying to like shorten down or like adapt like a whole anime series, but I was surprised when it was only like 90 minutes.
Yeah, 40 minutes is when we finally get our first mobile suit thing. Really.
Like a mobile
And
suit battle, because there's mobile suits in the series before that,
I don't
which goes more into like the world
need.
building stuff that I kind of like, where you see like, first of all, you got fucking the future of Richard Branson's fucking company showing up as like the beginning of the movie, where you have like a commercial space flight with just like people going down.
Yeah.
You've got like mobile suits escorting it, and then you've got like the weird police shit where they're like just running around with mobile suits against like normal people that are like this fucking big in comparison. Um, but yeah, I think I guess yeah, the first battle is like 40 minutes in. So.
But 40 minutes to really not build much.
Yeah,
It's just fluff. And like I have there's something that really bugs me about 90 minutes and 40 minutes of it are interpersonal, not things that matter.
yeah.
If there were like depth level characterization things that built the relationship between Hathaway and this girl,
Mm-hmm.
cool. But it's I'm in my room. I'm leaving my room. I'm looking at my phone in my bed, up in the air. It's dark. It's nighttime. There's no point to have 40 minutes of that. There's none. There's not. There's no real good story wise for that, except for making it artsy fartsy and like draw on for 40 minutes so you can have a 90-minute movie. That's all that shit is,
Mm.
right? It builds a mood. No, it doesn't. It builds frustration for me. That's what it does. Some people are cool with that, right? Like that fucking talk about years ago. Amazon's the Refn show
Oh,
on
I
Amazon
can't remember
Prime.
what it's called,
Uh,
but
No Way to Die or No Young Way to Die or No Good Way, whatever the fuck that show with Miles Teller,
yeah, I can't
right?
remember what it's called.
That show,
Too young to die or something like that.
so yeah, something like that. Refn used so many panning shots that were full fucking pans
Yeah.
and fucking yo, it's not a good choice because it makes me want to fast forward through your shit or stop watching. Because my time is precious, and if I can see that you're trying, this is your artistic vision, and this is your whatever, but I just know that I can get through that whole shit in the book of Hathaway's Flash so fast. Because how much writing are you gonna write? I'm writing the book, and here's what I'm writing. The building was full of people, and they were in the market. Hathaway was in the back of the taxi. How many chapters of that are there actually there? You know, I wonder because if this was put in the book, this is book one.
Yeah.
Right. That means that like literally 60% of the fucking first book is Hathaway walking around and sitting in his fucking room. There's no way that's the fucking book and it's sold that well. There's no fucking way. For 3 books, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, it's possible.
There's no fucking way. I guarantee the first. This is me bullshitting. I bet the first fucking book has half this bullshit, half cool ass shit, and the anime movie said fucking put it in the second movie.
Yeah, it's possible. Is it really 3 books?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah. I could double check though. I believe it is.
It's possible.
Hathaway's Flash.
It's possible. It's possible. I don't know. I mean, I'm with you. I think it really depends. I mean, I enjoy this movie, but I think it really
3
depends.
Books.
I think it really depends on what we see in the second movie, as far as like the series overall. Because like I'm fine with this for 1 movie, but yeah, if we get like 2 movies of like the same shit, I'm gonna not be as happy. Like I'm fine with this because like this is clearly like the setup for the story, so I'm okay with it not having as much of like the Gundam on Gundam mobile suit to mobile suit like action scenes, because the ones that we got were good and I like them, and it's clearly like setting up to him like getting the Gundam and him like willing to like take up his mantle as like the head of this organization. So I'm willing to like forgive it for that. But yeah, I think definitely with like at least the second movie, if like we don't get a little bit more action, then I'm gonna be like, what the hell are we doing with this time, guys?
Like I said, no, I know it's 3, so I can pull out my view and eat it and understand that I'm in part 1. I can do that.
Okay.
This doesn't change my fact that my discomfort, the fact that this movie has a lot of this bullshit in it.
Right.
Right. It's still a fine movie. Right. But if this was the only movie, shit.
Well, yeah, if this was the only movie, I'd be like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys?
And that alone saves it. That's not by itself. Because if it's by itself, bad movie. Bad movie. There's no A, B, and C. There's no the 3-part story.
No, there's definitely not a 3-act structure to this movie.
It's not there. There isn't one. Right? But know that it's not that.
You've got an opening, you've got whatever the fuck that middle chunk is, and then you got a B act, and like that's it.
Yeah. You know, and then even the end of the movie is not a C. That's going to be the beginning of the fucking next movie. So, but knowing that it's 3 is the only thing that saves it from being solid. Really, because we know. Because if you heard this was the only movie, you'd be like, this movie fucking sucks. You know. So there's that. And again, if they cancel the next 2 movies, well, this movie fucking blows. But they will obviously.
I hope they won't. Well, it's Sunrise, because I feel like at this point they can just do whatever they fucking want. So.
I'm sure the Gunpla kids are gonna say enough. But lastly, before we end up, I want to say I don't really love how bulky these mobile suits are.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of like the slimmer design.
Thing is, I don't know. I think I've got a little bit more because the first one that I saw that was like super bulky outside of like the 001, which is like the fucking like humongous chungus or whatever the fuck, was like the Thunderbolt ones, because the Thunderbolt ones are like big and it's got like a lot of shit going on, and these are just like big. Also, I don't like the name for it. Not Zai Gundam. The Zai Gundam's fine, but the other one's called Penelope. The fuck is that? Get a better fucking name.
Well, I like the Suzabi. I think it's cool, right?
Yeah.
But because the rest of the mobile suits around him are not big, like not chunky, right? But then this one, like they're both the rival and the main character's mobile suits are both like.
Yeah, they're both big chunky boys for sure.
Big chunky mobile suits, and like I don't know if there's a scientific reason they're going to explain like to put more technology in there? Can this Gundam fly into the atmosphere by itself?
Well, it looked like the rival one could at least do like the mobile armor shit. Like it seemed like it was a lot faster, and
yeah,
it definitely looked like it had like 2 different modes to it for sure. So
because
maybe that's part of it.
point,
Because Zeta kind of looks kind of thick too. Like he's thicker than like the original mobile suit at least. So
well, I mean, at that point, it defeats the purpose of having arms and legs. Because if you can only move like Batman and Dark Knight, there's no point. There's no point in having arms and legs. Just have cannons. You know, there's like no point. Like, that's why I think Gundam Seed. Like I keep referencing it. They're so slim. They're slim mobile suits because they actually they're like robots. Like they're supposed to like have.
Yeah, I think most series have like the pretty. This is the one that I've seen where it's like, yeah, both of them are like fucking chunky as fuck.
Yeah. Again, if they have an explanation for it, or if it's just a design choice, fine. But like, if they have a good reason, like, hey, it's the future. We've put technology into Penelope to make Hathaway be able to just fly into space from Earth. Okay, well that makes sense because why would you not want to put more technology into a mobile suit and have to avoid having the fucking sled? I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I can understand why it's chunky. If it's just for the design choice of having a chunky mobile suit, I'm like, I mean,
it doesn't look better if that's like just a design choice. Like, I'm hoping that there's more like design reasons to it,
or it's gonna be like you're not gonna get this reference. So I'm sorry. Kamen Rider Kabuto, which is where the first time I watched Kamen Rider Kabuto, he henshins, right, and he's like a big chunky guy, right, and it's like, oh, this thing's fucking ugly looking. And then he pulls he like shifts his belt, and the armor and it explodes off, and then he's thin.
Well, that basically happens in Double O with the big chunky one in Double O. It's like it's super chunky the whole time. Yeah, exactly. And then I don't remember what happens. I think she like goes insane or some shit, and like the armor fucking goes off, and it's like a super skinny shit. It's got like weird membrane tentacle thing. I don't know. It's a very weird looking design. One like sheds armor, but like
Gundam Seraph or some shit like that.
The one in Double O is called Virtue Gundam.
Virtue Gundam, that's what it is.
Virtue, it's like big chunky one, and when it sheds its armor, it's got like a different name for it. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, like let's pull it up. Gundam Virtue. Is that a girl or a boy?
It's a girl that pilots it. It's like glass.
I always thought it was a boy.
No, it's a glass. I think she's like a bad. Like I think it's a bad Gundam. Like it's on the enemy side. I think
he's a good guy.
The Virtue?
She's a good guy.
Oh, yeah. She is? Oh, I thought she was bad.
Yeah, she's one of the main characters. Yeah.
I just didn't recognize her because the only ones I remember from Double O is you got the fucking blank-faced hero guy, and you've got green, orange, and I think there's a yellow. I just remember colors.
Maybe. Oh, I don't think it's a he or a she. I think it's a it. It's an it.
The pilot?
Yeah. It says the character was created by celestial being.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Virtue, particle, and virtue. I'm trying to see what the thing's called.
When it sheds its armor, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find what it's called, but I can't find it.
I can't remember. I was watching a Gunpla, and the Gunpla like said it in the name, and I can't remember now what it was.
Literally, in the notes and trivia of the Gundam fandom, the second bullet point notes and trivia, it says Virtue's armor ejection is of a similar style to Kamen Rider Kabuto's cast-off animation. Literally, it says it references what I just said in the fucking thing.
The slimmed down version is called Gundam Nadleeh, Nadleeh. It's also got. I thought it was like the weird tentacle shit. It's got that, but it's like as a mustache. It's very strange.
I love that the Gundam fandom also links to the Kamen Rider fandom wikia. That's so fucking funny.
That's pretty fun.
Well, Zach, is there anything else you want to mention about either of these movies before we wrap up our Gundam watch through for now?
Stop writing annoying female characters, Sunrise. It makes me upset when I watch the movies and I'm like, this bitch is dumb and her reasoning makes no sense.
Yeah,
you can write good female characters that actually do something to add to the story. This is not how you do it.
No, it's not. It's not. Especially when you have cool characters like the one who, like Amuro's friend who dies.
Yeah, like she's a good character.
Like she's a good character. Like she's a good who dies for No reason.
No reason at all.
Amuro doesn't gain anything out of it.
Yeah,
also,
and that's the other thing is weird because she's basically set up to be like the Lala of Char's counterattack, and then she just dies. It's like Amuro doesn't even know she's dead. She's just like she's gone.
Also, real quick, real fast before we go, when she shot the rocket at no, not the rocket at Case, the boy who liked Case, the one who wants to beat Char.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Did he die?
I think he died.
Because he got hit in the back, I thought, but I can't remember what happened.
Yeah, I think he got exploded when that happened.
He got exploded? Okay, I couldn't remember.
I think he got exploded, and then I don't remember exactly what happened. I just remember that she kept trying to, annoying bitch, kept trying to hit the good girl. And also you had Hathaway like on top of her in some like dinky ass like mass production mobile suit. Saying like you should stop, and then you have annoying bitch being like, "You're a child, get away from me," and I'm like, "Bitch, you're also a child. Like, what are you even talking?
You're a dumb man.
Why are you talking like you're like 40 years old? Like you are not even allowed to drive. Like I don't understand."
I just do want to say though, if we ever get to watch Seed, Amuro having to fight 2 or 3 or 4 mobile suits. In Gundam Seed, that's fucking nothing to our main character. That's fucking nothing.
Nothing?
Kira Yamato's a fucking god. He is a Gundam god. He's 00 guy. He is Setsuno, whatever the fuck his last name is. He is a fucking god.
Okay.
What's up, 5? You should have brought 1,000.
He's fucking guts. Like, you should have brought more men.
Yeah.
There's only 100 of you. You should have brought more.
You know, so hey guys, that's that. I'm sure we'll talk about the next movie.
I'm sure we will. Now that I'm all caught up, I'm all ready to dive in now. I want more.
So, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll be back next week with our what we've been checking up with episode. Talk about things we've been checking out this past month. Yes. Watching, playing, all that kind of stuff. So. Zach, anything else you want to add before we dip out for the week?
No, man. I'm pretty much good with everything else. Anything from you?
That's it, man. I got a lot of stuff to mention next week, so.
Yeah, I feel you.
So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you back next week. More licensed to view.
See you guys.